Watching. I'd like to call the Plains County Council meeting order. Today is March 5th, 2024 at 6 p.m. It's actually 7 after. Clerk, will call roll, please.
Mayor Brennan. Councilmember Murphy.
Here.
Councilmember Walsh Russo. Here. Councilmember McHugh. Here. Councilmember LaParisio. Here. Councilmember Carson. Councilmember Harrington.
Here.
Councilmember Wooden.
Here.
Councilmember Matheson.
Here. We don't have any flag, but we're going to put it up there on the screen for everybody to rise and see I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
First item on our agenda today will be presentation from the Congress.
You gotta talk closer to the mic.
Can you hear me better now?
Yes.
Our first presentation tonight will be over Union Regional Airport. Oh, there he is over there. Just step up to the podium real quick.
Roll the presentation. All right. Could I have one of those mics? That might be easier. Can everybody hear me? Yes. All right. So thank you, Common Council, for having the Airport Commission here this evening. It's a great pleasure to be here. It's been a while. And thank you, audience, for being here too. I know that everybody here was so excited about the airport presentation, and that's why you're all here. So, a little bit about the history, and I promise this is going to be a fairly quick presentation where we're just going to cover the basics about the airport. So, a little bit of the history. It was voted on by the Common Council in 1964 and took operations in 1966. Catskill Airways was operating from the airport, and they were flying into New York City. There's a lot more history, and if you go to the FBO at the airport, the Oneonta Historical Society actually has created beautiful posters on the wall that detail everything. The one thing I still want to mention is Ron Garan learned to fly at the Oneonta Airport. And Ron is a NASA astronaut, and he has spent over 170 days at the International Space Station. His humble startings were here in Oneonta. So if you look at like an airport, and if you look in general about infrastructure, you have your waterways, your railways, your roadways, and your airways. So what do we have here in Oneonta? We have 3 out of 4. And I think that's very important to recognize, because 75% is a good statistic to work with to have economic development. So what are we going to do tonight? First, we're going to focus on the potential of the Oneonta Airport. The second part will be talking about the projects that are currently in process, and after that there will be a brief recap. But could you please move to? So maybe it's good to understand, like, who are the parties involved? So we have Kerry Harrington and Mike Stevens, who are part of airport operations. That's the day-to-day operations that they take care of. Kerry works with the FAA and other organizations on the projects, and Mike does airport operations, anything from fuel safety to lights to operations when airplanes come in. Then we have the Airport Commission. The role of the Airport Commission is very clear. We're there to propose and bring forward new ideas to the Common Council. So I'm Martijn Kamerbeek. I'm part of the Airport Commission since 2021. We also have Lou Shields here in the front, raising his hand. He's been part of the Airport Commission too since 2021. And behind me is Justin Osterhout, who has been part of the Airport Commission since 2023. I really don't know which way I should be looking. I think I should be addressing this to the Common Council. Lou has been working with jet engines, and I have to read this because it's the F-8 Crusader and the F-4 Phantom during the Vietnam War. Justin is a certified flight instructor and also FAA certified air transport pilot with over 10,000 hours in the air. As you can tell, there's a lot of knowledge there with this Airport Commission. Even though they're relatively young or relatively recent, there's a lot of knowledge there. Then below that is the governing body, that's you, the Common Council. And Len Carson has been appointed the council member liaison. Before he was that, he also was an airport commissioner. And some of the other airport commissioners and people involved were people like Dennis Finn, Jeff Beck, and Ed May. All of them played important roles in the history of the airport. Then below we have our airport consultants. Now, up to last year, we used McFarlane Johnson as our airport consultant, and this year we changed that to Passero Associates. And we have in our audience here Matt Neeson from Passero. And the interesting part about Matt is he also lives in Oneonta. So, one of the things that binds all of these people together is the passion for aviation and the passion for the economic opportunities that that brings to our city. So now I'm going to turn it over to Justin, who's going to talk about what the airport can do for us.
Thanks, Martijn. My name's Justin Osterhout, and been on the Airport Commission here for a short time. As Martijn mentioned, I am a professional pilot. I've worked in several sectors of the aviation industry, including small carriers that fly in and out of airports, similar to our airport here in Oneonta, although I currently fly large airplanes for a large cargo airline all over the world. There are 4,800, give or take, public use airports in the United States of America. Most of them, believe it or not, are similar in size, scope, and operation to our airport here in Oneonta, because about 700 of those airports have an operating FAA control tower. So I've traveled to a lot of these airports, and the airports really are a gateway to the community. And many of these airports, particularly the ones that are modernizing, are really showcasing the community that they serve. When Martijn and I, go to the next slide. When Martijn and I started working together on ways to improve our airport, one of the airports that immediately came to mind was the Saratoga County Airport in Saratoga, New York. As a similar airport, similar size structures, similar facilities, and kind of similar industry as well. We got to reading about it, and the Saratoga County Airport was recently awarded, within the past 2 years, a $27 million grant to improve their facility to really showcase the community and be a true gateway to the community. So this slide here, if we have to use our imagination a little bit. On the top left is a engineer's rendering of the facility to be built at the Saratoga County Airport. So as you can imagine, there is a horse out front. Kind of combine that with the richness of our community here, and think about the potential of what if we invest in this facility, how we can really showcase our community to make it a true gateway to the community. Next slide, please. So we've been talking about potential improvements, potential operations at the airport, and I've kind of narrowed it down to a few that I want to talk about. There's plenty more to talk about. And in fact, I should point out that Carrie dropped off. Everybody has a kind of a informational piece of paper which expands on this, more stuff. If anyone wants an electronic version, I'd be happy to get it to you with hyperlinks. Take your time, read about it. I know you have a lot to cover tonight, so I don't want to take up too much of your time. But professional flight training, pilots are in high demand, very high demand. And in fact, CAE forecasts over the next decade, 284,000 newly trained pilots will be needed to meet worldwide demand, which may not sound like a lot, but currently the worldwide professional pilot population stands at about 330,000. So we're looking at nearly 100% increase in professional pilots. A lot of that's driven by retirements, but there's a huge need for flight training. We have a great opportunity locally. We have 2 colleges and a great airport for it, so it's something I'd like to look into. Any of these improvements, the immediate gain is we're leasing space to these operations. So we're leasing facilities, leasing space, and we're selling them fuel. All airplanes need fuel to fly. Medical transport, helicopters, jets, whether you're transporting patients, lab samples, working with local hospitals. Of course, we have local hospitals that would benefit from this. Those aircraft also need space. They need fuel. There are jet aircraft that are owned by companies locally without the proper facilities. They have to base these aircraft at other airports nearby. So there's really a lot of potential to improve our facilities, base these aircraft here at Oneonta, and the local businesses would of course prefer that. And again, improving the operation with facility leases, fuel sales, transient aircraft. A lot of people arrive. Tourism is a big industry here. People are arriving to our airport through into the community, increasing traffic. The bottom note up here is kind of an interesting point. I just learned about this. These aircraft they're real. They're not just in the Jetsons anymore. It's a fully electric aircraft. They're real. They're certified, and they are flying. Forward thinking about our airport, we not only want to accommodate these aircraft, but we should really be thinking about approaching the companies that are building these aircraft. Let's face it, they are the future, and we should be working on getting these aircraft built here locally. That, of course, brings not just jobs to the area, but it also brings professional careers. All of these things, they bring professional careers, they increase traffic, and they boost revenue. Next slide, please. Excuse me. This is a bit of a top-down view of the airport, and I'm just going to kind of briefly discuss some of the projects at the airport that are current, ongoing, and planned, kind of working from the left side to the right. Anything you see up there that is in yellow or orange is an obstruction removal project. Carrie's going to talk a little bit more about that. The blue line represents a change to the entrance road, and by changing the entrance road, we could immediately open up space for land leases, facility leases, to facilitate all of those things I just discussed. Excuse me. The green line is a parallel taxiway. Love to talk more about it another time. As far as the safety aspect, happy to answer any questions. Big change in safety to the airport. Furthermore, opens up a whole new set of space for land leases, facility leases, facilitate all those things I just talked about. Having said all that, I'm going to give it back to Martijn to talk about how the projects work.
Well, thank you, Justin. And for some of the audience members, maybe if you don't know where the airport is, because not everybody may know that, it's north of the city, around 4 miles north of the city. Located on a mountaintop, which is actually a great location for it because of things like fog. Like there's many times when the other nearby airports are fogged in and our airport is accessible. That definitely matters too for medical flights. So here's a slide that talks about the life cycle of these projects. And it starts at the top with the ACIP, which is the Airport Capital Improvement Plan. That is something that the City of Anianta works with the FAA, the airport manager and the airport commission on to sequence these projects that we're looking to accomplish. And it really ties into the second and the third part where it's like applying for funding and receiving the funding. The FAA is a major player in this and they have the airport improvement project plans that help us get to it. All of the FAA projects have a 5% local match, meaning that 95% of the cost of these projects are sourced from FAA and other areas. Once we have the plan, a 5-year plan that lays out in detail what those projects are, it actually sequences them and then they go through the next stages. Design, meaning we understand what needs to be done. Environmental impacts are important. Sometimes endangered species are involved for animals. After the design is complete, it goes into a review where the Common Council will review these plans and approve them. And after that, it goes out to bid and then it will be constructed. Now, to be quite honest, there are probably 10 to 20 more steps that should be on this slide. It's a very complex process. And it also takes a lot of time. It also involves a lot of different agencies, the New York State Department of Transportation and the FAA. So it's very important that when we develop these plans, these long-term plans, that we are committed to them and that we remain committed to them even if we have council members change everything. This is important. The sequencing is determined in a way that it guarantees the safety, that it promotes the opportunities, and that there's a path for generating more revenue, all at the same time. So that's where it comes to the commitment. Like when we start these projects, 5 years before, we should be committed to following through. You can actually find all of these projects too at the bottom of the budget. Once they go through the ACIP, they enter the capital improvement plan of the City of Anianta, which is available on the website too. So now for the next couple of slides, Carrie will go through the projects and the current status.
All right, my favorite part, public speaking. Sorry. Okay, I'm done. We're going to go super quick. People are not here for this. I can appreciate that. You want to be heard on something else, but I appreciate you taking the time to listen. Just a brief overview on 4 of the projects that we're currently, 3 are active, 1 is hopefully pending for future funding. The Fuel Farm project was a grant awarded by the New York State Department of Transportation. We applied for it back in 2018 and received an initial award of $1.5 million. The city was committed to a $250,000 local match, with 90% of that coming from DOT and FAA funds. The initial application included the purchase and relocation of a fuel farm. It also included the purchase of a fuel truck to be used on airport property. We reduced that scope to a 2-tank farm as similarly depicted in the photograph above. COVID, construction, timeline, they're not in our favor. So this project has rebid twice. It is currently gone back to the New York State Department of Transportation so that we can rescope the project to something that's more attainable budget-wise and what we're able to commit to. The automated weather observation system, bids are actually going out on this project this spring. We have received the 100% design. This project, maybe one of the few benefits to COVID, was 100% funded by the federal government. Our AWAS is maybe 25 years old, give or take. Getting a nod, okay. We need to move it further away from our aircraft operations. We want to place it across the runway. not only for safety, but for the ability to clear space for potential future development with land leasing. Our current technology is outdated. We've had a few lightning strike incidents, and repairs to this device are incredibly expensive and harder to complete as we go on with the availability or lack thereof of parts. Area medical helicopter transports actually use our data as opposed to the home airport to determine whether they go or no-go on medical flights because of our elevation. This one is also currently 100% designed. There will be a 5% local match of about $13,000 to move this project forward. This has met the council's approval in 2023 with the design portion. We're now moving into construction. The plans have been submitted to the FAA, and the project will likely be awarded with their assurance in the summer of 2024, with the hope to start construction as soon as November due to wildlife concerns. So there are a number of many types of obstructions, and all that graphic up there tells you is how high we need or how low we need those obstructions to be in order to provide a safe and navigable airspace for our helicopters, or our planes, or ultralights, whatever we're going to end up with. This is the kind of elephant in the room. So, partial parallel taxiway. It increases the safety and allows for future development of our property. This is actually a critical safety item as defined by the FAA and would be an estimated $8 million project over 2 phases. The local match for the first portion for phase 1 would be about $200,000 and $600,000 for phase 2. This is something that will prevent back taxiing on our runway. It allows us to get aircraft and other obstructions off the runway to ensure safety of all involved. And I'm giving you a heads up now, Council, we're going to be coming to talk to you soon about some fun things.
Thank you, Carrie. Thank you so much. So, where does this leave us? How lucky are we? City of Oneonta. 3 out of 4 infrastructures we have. If we didn't have an airport today, I don't think we'll ever would have an airport again. But we do have it today. And so I'm looking for your support to keep providing the money that's necessary for these grants, because in the end, this is going to build our economy. If you look at the future that Justin was talking about, there's so many opportunities, and they're within arm's reach of reaching those. If we capitalize on those opportunities, that will lift everyone. It will benefit everybody in the city of Oneonta. Probably outside of the city of Oneonta too, but that's okay. We all get better from it. So, like Harry said, like sometime this fall, maybe 4th quarter, we'll be coming back to the Common Council, give you another update of where we are with the projects. And I can't tell you how much it means to me to have your continued support. Thank you very much.
Next item on the agenda will be the Oneonta Earth Festival in Morgan. Are you there? Come around. Denise, if you use the mic.
Want a mic?
Yeah, I'll just take a mic.
Okay.
Hi. Is this working? Okay. So currently the city's been planning an Earth Day Festival for April 27th. We intend for it to be 9 to 3 p.m. and we would like to close the portion of Deet Street from Main to Wall. So it would basically be, instead of taking business and traffic away from Main Street, we would just have it focused on Deets. And if we need additional space, we would also use Muller Plaza to have additional tables and activities. The goal for this day would be to promote environmental awareness and education, and just overall promote sustainability within our community, which incorporates not just the environment, but also equity and the economy. And that includes focusing on small businesses and shopping local. So not just the environment, but a lot of positive impacts for our community. And this is normally when O-Fest takes place with Oneonta and Hartwick, but this year it's only gonna be at the SUNY campus. So we thought this would be a great replacement, and therefore there's still a community-wide event still going on. I've been doing a lot of outreach to organizations and vendors, so just as some examples of the activities we'd have going on, the Office of Sustainability at SUNY offered to have a thrift pop-up table. We have a lot of clubs that would like to do eco-friendly crafts, some focused towards children, and then family-friendly activities. We have some technology that we can bring in from campus, like solar telescopes, and doing more scientific engagement, and then as well as walks and guided tours through the community. So the OCCA offered to do a tree identification walk, as well as there's going to be a morning bird walk to identify birds, guided tours of the new island trail system. So a lot of different diverse activities going on throughout the day, as well as organizations like the Reuse Center will promote their recycling programs. The yoga people also offered to have yoga in the park. So just a lot of different ways to engage and be involved throughout the day.
They're trying to send a really short video for remarks. Hopefully it's short.
I didn't know. That'll be available on the website at a later time. We'll give it one more shot here. We will upload them as a separate attachment. We'll place it on the website so that people can view it and up on Facebook. Apologies.
Doesn't get much shorter than that. So we're going to go to the public hearing because I think that's what most of you are here for. With the public hearing, it's not a question and answer. You guys have 3 minutes. What we're going to do is we're going to hand the microphone out. When you're done talking, you hand it to the next person who wants to speak. Like I said, try to keep your remarks to 3 minutes. And who would like to go first? Okay. Let me grab you a mic. There we go. Just have to state your name. If you live in the city, not your address, so prefer to record it down for us, please.
Can you hear me?
A little closer, Jack. A little
Can
closer.
you hear me?
There we go.
I'm Joseph Hardy Romano, 68 Buckview Road. So I grew up in the system. I was in the system since I was 5 to 13. I am currently an RSS client. My client is Enoch. He is a very great worker. RSS has done a lot for the clients itself over the years since it started. It is a very great organization in my opinion. It has its ups and downs, but it wouldn't be normal if no system didn't have its ups and downs. Sorry. I had a lot of trouble, a lot growing up. Officer Gallister can attest to that. So I think the project for RSS on Market Street is a very good idea because it gives hope to people that are trying to change their lives. I'm in college now, and I'm on my way to becoming a philanthropist because RSS has given me a second chance for doing good. And it has rules in RSS. People get RSS confused with DSS. RSS is completely different than DSS. RSS helps rehabilitate those who have mental health issues, drug issues, alcohol issues. Rules with them are they don't allow people, they do, but if it's current, they don't allow people that have current violent issues in one of these type of group homes. I was in the one in Owego. They have curfew, 11 p.m. You cannot be out past 11 p.m. Sorry, and you have mandatory therapy groups, mandatory medication groups. If you're on medication, they want you to get involved in the community more and more and more, so you can get back out to the community in a normal setting, whatever that means. It has helped. I have a best friend that is in college too, and it's helped him a lot. There's a lot of people that use it for good and bad, but there's a lot more that use it for good. And it's a hope setting. I grew up in the system, and this is the best type of system that I've been through that helped me get to where I am today. And I think it's a great location for New Life Church too. That's what I'm a part of. It helps us at New Life give other people hope too. We have counseling there, family and therapy counseling as well. And we're just trying to make people's lives better. And RSS, I think, is the start of that. And that's all I really got to say about that.
Okay, so my name is Sean Lewis, and I'm the president and CEO of the Otsego County Chamber of Commerce. Thank you for the opportunity to speak at this important hearing today. As the saying goes, I have no dog in this fight, but I will explain the Chamber of Commerce's consistent position. Our organization, as a representative of hundreds of local members, is unabashedly pro-growth and pro-business. We are also proponents of local business opportunity, and we support projects that enhance our quality of place. The Chamber of Commerce believes that all interested parties deserve an opportunity to bid and participate on 27 Market Street and put forth their individual development concepts. And when the city of Oneonta decides on which proposal best serves the citizens here, then that decision needs to be based on the greater benefit to all, explained in detail, and made in the light of day. I once again thank you for this time.
Thanks, Sean. Council members, good to see you. I'm not going to talk about the project. I'm not here to evaluate the project. I want to talk a little bit about the process. You have an important decision to make, and fortunately, the city has established procedures and policies and in ways to help you to make an informed decision. Unfortunately, for some reason, someone is trying to drive this bus past all of the warning signs, past all of the yellow lights, and not allow you to make the informed decision that you need to make. Over the past 10 years, we've had at least 3 large construction projects, and in each of them, we have never asked a council to take action in support of a project before they had every single detail about the project. We've never asked the council to take action about a project before it went to the planning commission and they conducted a seeker. The seeker at which we would bring in independent experts to evaluate any potential negative impacts. Impacts not only environmental, but also impacts upon the neighborhood. We've never asked the council to evaluate a project or pass any kind of motion to support a project before the planning commission conducted a site plan review. And the site plan review is not only to determine whether the project meets code, but it's also to determine whether the project is consistent with city planning and good for the neighborhood. I will also say that in all of our previous projects, the developers worked with the city for over 2 years before they brought full construction documents with all details to the planning commission and for their approval, and before they brought anything to the council. So my request is, I don't know why this train is being driven so fast, but it's going to go off the rails this way. We need to slow it down. We need to adhere to all of the safeguards that we have created. We need to have this completely vetted, understand the impacts, let the planning commission do their work, and then the council can make an informed decision. So my request is, don't ever approve something, give site plan, any kind of site control for a project that is not fully defined, for a project that has not been vetted, a project that has not gone through all of the procedures that we have in place to help you make an informed decision and protect the people of the city. So let's slow this train down, keep it on the tracks, and make sure we do it the way it's been designed to do. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Brian Shaughnessy. I live at 6 North Belmont Circle. I own property on Market Street. I'm here tonight because I want to let everybody know I want to buy 27 Market Street. It should be, like it was stated earlier, it should be available to other parties, not just RSS. I'm making an all-cash offer tonight. Again, I want everybody to know, because if I send an email to City Hall, it's going to go into a black hole. But there are other parties out there that are interested in this property besides RSS, and it should be made available. So I just handed a 3-page document out to the council, which includes a couple things that support my proposal. I'm going to read a letter that the council has. Tonight, I am submitting an offer to purchase 27 Market Street. I have included a letter of intent to purchase the property. I have also included proof of funds letter from my bank. Per the letter of intent, I am offering the appraised value plus an extra $10,000. So my offer is $487,500. I realize I am competing with RSS to purchase the property, who I know has offered to pay only the appraised value. For a quick closing, I am waiving all environmental related contingencies. I have already reviewed prior environmental studies done on 27 Market Street, and I feel comfortable with the studies completed already. The proof of funds letter shows that I have liquid funds available for the full purchase price. I do not plan on getting a mortgage, and no further appraisals are needed. Again, I am ready to close quickly on the sale of the property. If this moves forward, I will lease 27 Market Street back to the city for $1 a month for a period of 12 to 18 months with an option to extend this. The city will need to continue to use 27 Market Street for parking for at least a while. I'm sure you are wondering what my long-term plan is for 27 Market Street. Discussions have started and community members are collaborating to identify the best use of this property. I feel that input from downtown stakeholders and residents is important to help shape a community-driven plan for 27 Market Street. In contrast to the proposed RSS plan, our plan aims to strengthen our existing downtown businesses and at minimum maintain property values, which form the basis of our tax revenue. We need to draw people downtown who will spend money at eateries and other businesses. Thank you.
Is this on? Can you hear me? Yeah. Sorry. My name is Mark O'Mara. I live at 4 Beaton Park North. My husband and I have been residents of Oneonta since 1966. I just read the article that appeared in the Star today, and I want to let you know that I really have no opinion for or against RSS. I am sure that they are trying to meet an urgent need. 27 Market Street is the wrong place. We need to keep it on the tax rolls. The council and the mayor need to be completely transparent when discussing and voting on this issue. It is not a personnel issue. This is our city and we need to be involved. What benefit does RSS bring to the community? Well, if there is a benefit, find a different location. We don't have adequate social services to take care of our needs at this time. We welcome RSS into the community, we welcome them into the community, but they're going to further tax our services. I would like to end this letter on a positive note. Please expend your energies convincing the owners of the vacant property on Main Street to encourage rentals. Please sell or remodel vacant homes that the city owns. This will go a long way to making our city more welcoming. And this message comes from both my husband and myself. Thank you.
First, I'd like to start off by saying I can see both sides of this project being positive and negative.
Can you put the mic closer to you?
Sorry.
Thank you.
Also speak quietly. So I can see both sides of things, and I do see the value that RSS has in our community, and it does serve a lot of people in our community, considering that we have a lot of people with mental illness and problems with addiction that do need help and services. However, I think that location, again, is the problem, not only for the community, but for the people who intend to use that location as a rehab center. Where you're right in downtown, you're right by all the bars, you're right in the parking area downtown with all the college students, and I think that that's a bad location for them, but also for us in the community. And I think if we need those services in a center like this so badly, we should look at other locations. RSS sounded like they had a lot of experience opening facilities in other areas and getting funding for that. I'm not sure why they had to move so quickly on this one property instead of looking around elsewhere that might be more appropriate.
Hello, Lee Roberts from the Greener. My family and I bought the business in 2007, and we really love this community and really here to support the growth of the community.
Hold the mic close,
Oh, sorry.
Thank you.
That I don't, this RSS thing on that spot is wrong. I would suggest that they put it out somewhere in a country where people aren't surrounded by bars and people selling drugs and marijuana merchant around the corner from it. That would be a lot helpful and better for individuals as well as I stand in support of government. I think that a commercial development in that site, right now we can use it for parking until we complete the travel center and have that whole lot open for the city. Because we've lost a lot of spots in the last 2 years. The P Street project, and now with the garage down, and that lot is 90–95% full almost every day. Every time I go by, it's full. So I think that I would support Brian and hope to find a better spot for the other side. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Rick Weinberg. I have been in Oneonta since 1971 when I went to school here. And since the time I've been here, I've seen a tremendous decline in Main Street. When I came here, it was a vibrant shopping area. And of course, I realized that the South Side Mall came in, and not every city is doing well. But the cities I've been to that are doing well, like Burlington, Vermont, Saratoga, what do they have in common? They have a vast parking lot in the center of town. You've taken the D Street parking lot, which I thought was a tremendous mistake. I had extensive conversations with the previous mayors, who I respect, and they told me that the parking problem is a perceived problem. I don't think it's a perceived problem. But if it is a perceived problem, then people do not want to drive downtown and shop. You can sell that lot in 10 years. You can sell that lot in 5 years. Right now, pave all the lots, put some lines in them, and see what happens. If you just decide to sell it, you can never get it back. And that parking is a vital step to attracting businesses into town. I own a business on Main Street. I own the restaurant on Main Street. And there's no place to park. You can't attract businesses without a place to park. So pave it, see what happens, and if you decide you don't really need the parking, you can always sell it. Don't rush it.
Hi, good evening. Can you hear me? Okay, Carolyn Marks, 18 Ravine Parkway Road, Oneonta. As we all know, downtown Oneonta is a remarkable historic business district that must be preserved in the entire community moving forward. Collectively, we can all agree that the value and experiences that once shaped the vibrant downtown of years past and even decades ago can be transformed once again and be revived for future generations of Oneontans to enjoy. With that being said, it is imperative now that the now vacant site of the former Oneonta Sales building located at 27 Market Street be redeveloped into a commercial retail space that will be representative of the future of economic activity and urban development ahead for all of us, and not be sold to RSS for further density housing, requiring services and resources that are not only not available in Oneonta, but what limited service there are already spraying beyond our limits for those who already live here and need them. We have no assurance that RSS can make good on what they say they will and can do. Therefore, we cannot take a chance. It is the investment risk we cannot afford to take at this pivotal time in sustainable economic development. Unfortunately, as of today, the downtown commercial district, which includes both Main and Market Streets, are in an ominous downhill trend, directly affected by rural poverty, which has resulted in the loss of retail stores and other sweeping changes. Small upstate New York cities with similar geographic and demographic characteristics to Oneonta will also continue to deteriorate without serious and reasonable creative solutions. Investing in downtown Oneonta is and has to be the heart of what we, your constituents, and you, our city officials, must be focused on, be at this very intimate and immediate time in our history, to nurture a future we can be proud of. Investing in marketing to retail and other profitable commerce will bring renewed interest in redevelopment of 27 Market Street and other vacant and underutilized buildings and spaces throughout downtown and beyond. Doing so will bring fresh, renewed interest in coming here, whether visitor, tourist, or someone who may want to decide to make Oneonta home. Isn't that our ultimate goal? To transport life back into our beautiful and underappreciated city? Yes, this is an economic challenge for commercial activity and development, but as we can work together through partnering with the Mohawk Valley Economic Development District, collaborating with them to promote economic growth and community resiliency to support local business, which will in turn help advance job growth, give a boost to our quality of life, and increase our visibility around the state and boundaries beyond. We need lasting long-term results, not short-term. Hey, let's grab at anything that comes along our way that may in the end not create a thriving and positive move forward for any of us. It is imperative that each of you, council members, listen to your constituents who have a wealth of knowledge, experience, and expertise, as well as compassion and passion for a new chapter to be written for the health and wealth.
Time's up, please, give the mic to
Please
somebody
have
else.
all your information.
3 minutes is up, come on. I said 3 minutes.
I appreciate it.
Xana Kay, I live at 7 Normal Avenue, and I'm not coming into this late and I don't have all the information, but I am a little confused because I keep hearing about our neighborhoods and these people, and it's confusing to me because homelessness and the issues that are trying a little bit to be addressed by some of what this housing would provide. If I look across the nation, it's happening everywhere and it's continuing. And if we do not proactively create an environment in which we support people who need this kind of reintegration, we do not serve ourselves. We don't live, I own my home, I'm very, very, very lucky. But the homeless people who share my community are part of my community. Right. And I really don't think we serve ourselves by isolating us from those who need our assistance. I am not sure that I know the economics behind it or that kind of thing, but as I've read very carefully in this program, there's 50 units, 15 of them would be provided, and those 15 units would have 24/7 already provided support and care. They would not access the resources that are already here. And those people would not be brought in from outside, but moved up from services that are already here in town and providing them the help they have so far, but they need to go to the next level. RSS, as far as I can tell, has been working very well with our community and provided housing like this already, and there has not been a problem around those houses. When we wanted to create a homeless shelter, we ran into the same situation. Everybody was all for it. We gotta help those poor guys, but not here, not there, not by me. And when it finally went in, there weren't problems, any more problems than there are anywhere else. So I believe there are a lot of good points being brought up, but the reason this is being hurried, as I understand it, is that there is a 9% tax situation available to RSS, which is on a limited time frame. And that can be a very big deal on a project this size, but that's just all I know about that. I just wish we would talk about our community as if it includes all of our community.
Southside Drive, and I own several properties in town, including the old VFW on Main Street. I want to say I agree with almost everything everyone has said, and a number of people here will hear things I've already said, so I apologize for the redundancy. But the fact of the matter is there are two separate issues here. One is servicing the people who need the help that RSS offers. The other one is an economic decision that the city has to make on how best to use that particular lot. The Dalai Lama had a quote that I loved, and some of you have heard me say already. If you want to make other people happy, practice compassion. If you want to make yourself happy, practice compassion. That's an absolute necessity given the conditions we're living in today. The proper choice of location to help the people that need the help has to be thought through more thoroughly. The use of that piece of property to its best advantage for the future of the city has to be thought through more thoroughly. It's just a happenstance that, according to the mayor, developers were sought during 2020, 2021, and with no takers. So he turned to RSS. But in 2021, and 2020 and 2021, the entire world was in the throes of economic uncertainty. The likelihood of finding someone to take any bold action would have been very slim. And to make the determination now in terms of the business of selling property based on the conditions back then is short-sighted. We need to take a look at what the market is now. That whole question has to be revisited, and I'll stop now. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Riley Lowe. I live at 61 Church Street. I wasn't expecting to speak tonight, so I'm a little nervous, but I'll keep it short.
Can you speak up a
A little closer.
Oh, sorry.
Thank you.
I don't know how many people in the audience have experienced housing difficulties, but I grew up in housing difficulties. Basically, my whole life I moved from house to house and experienced a lot of housing insecurity as a young person. I don't know how many people have had the experience of being, as a kid, being locked out of their parents' apartment with their parent not able to get back into their home. I don't know how many of you have experienced having your parents and your things put out on the porch because your parents couldn't pay rent. So you see, I grew up, this is a very important issue to me. And I think for all the people that are fortunate enough to own a business, fortunate enough to own a home, fortunate enough to own a car, you have to remember that there are people that don't have those things, that can't have those things. And this is their community too. This is not for the community, is not just for the people who have money, it's for everybody. Everybody belongs to the community. And it is a testament to your humanity and to the community's character to take care of those people.
And I used to own Grease's Emporium on Main Street. I don't anymore because basically the decision was made for me. Is that good?
Closer.
Closer.
There you go.
Okay, so the decision was basically made for me that creating my business with the parking situation and all the activity on Main Street that's unwanted by whoever does it. Needles on the ground, people soliciting, and so forth. My business went downhill. So, you know, we don't get to have a business if things are not in place to make it where somebody wants to come to. That won't happen. So I think RSS is a wonderful program
I think that there are other places that it could be where it would be more beneficial to the people that will be taking advantage of its services. Cooperstown has all the resources that we do. They have a lot of empty property on Route 28. They have a bus route. They have mental health services. They have a psychiatrist. I don't believe we have any in Oneonta. They have jobs. Dreams Park is hiring right now. So that we don't have to be their only choice. And even the town of Oneonta, there are places that are for sale there, where there is a bus route, there's services that are available. Oneonta does have a heart. Over the last 50 years, the only housing that has been created here has been low-income housing. And so, there has been no townhouses put in. The older, beautiful houses that are needing renovation, money has not very much money has been put into them. I know there's a Gary Herzig had a program that started at one time, I don't know if it's still going, to renovate some of this housing. I was making a quick list here. It really isn't about not wanting people here and it's not about not wanting people and not having a heart. This will take more space away from parking. And recruiting more people. Now, last night, or 2 nights ago, I heard that they take applications from everywhere for people to come here for this program. Tonight, I'm hearing something different, that is just people from Oneonta that are already here that will be accepted into this program. That's a question that should be answered. This is an area where it is the bar area in Oneonta. It always has been. And I think that if you take a walk downtown, anywhere between 11 o'clock and 2 o'clock in the morning, you'd be surprised at the activity on the streets. And do we have the police force to take on more time. Yes.
Thank you. Just handed in a letter to be added into the minutes of tonight's board meeting. To Mayor Deranek and council members, 2 weeks, in 2 weeks, the council is set to vote on the sale of 27 Market Street to RSS. In the Oneonta Code, it is made clear that if the city is to sell property, it needs to be done in the best interest of the people of the city of Oneonta. For this reason, I am requesting that council member Shannon McHugh abstain from all voting relating to RSS due to a conflict of interest that has become apparent. According to the state of New York's Office of Professions, Shannon McHugh has been a licensed master social worker since 2016. Shannon should recuse herself from all discussions and voting related to RSS for the following reasons. Number one, Shannon cannot publicly vote against RSS without potentially negative consequences to her career. Voting against RSS could tarnish Shannon's reputation in the industry, as RSS and other service providers collaborate and maintain communication among themselves. A tarnished reputation would impact the number of clients who come through referrals or other sources. Number two, RSS's proposed $25 million investment is expected to bring many new disadvantaged residents to Oneonta who need the services of a social worker. Given the anticipated rise in RSS clients coming to Oneonta, Shannon may potentially benefit financially either through direct or indirect means. Shannon's employment in the field of social work likely would have flown under the radar. However, her unprofessional behavior at the February 20th County Council caught the attention of many in the audience. When petitioners speak, it's not appropriate to dismiss their comments and hand gestures or facial expressions, especially at public hearings. These intimidating tactics coming from a public officer clearly intended to suppress public opinion should not be tolerated. The New York State Comptroller has published a 12-page document for municipalities to help clarify when there's a conflict of interest. This document states the following: the phrase conflict of interest can apply in a variety of situations which all have one thing in common: an individual with divided loyalties, such as when a person has to act on behalf of the public in connection with a matter that affects his or her personal interests. Besides Article 18 of the General Municipal Law, the City of Oneonta also has its own code of ethics it needs to adhere to. I have reviewed this, and like I said, I feel Shannon should abstain from all discussion and voting involving RSS. Respectfully, Louisa Montanti, 4th Ward resident.
Is that Tony? I see, I don't have my glasses.
No.
No?
Don't give him the light.
My name's Tony Avanzato. I have property in Oneonta, and I just want to say some of the stories some of you guys and the ladies have been saying. Beautiful stories about poverty and homelessness, and I get that. When my father brought 4 of us kids and my mom to Oneonta, we left Sicily, we had nothing. So I know what poor is like. But you know what? My father gave us the best gift of life. He taught us how to do something with our lives. Okay? And that's why I have a car, I have a house, and all that. Okay? But I'm going to give you a little. 25 years ago, my brother Vinny and I took a huge risk on Market Street. There was nothing on Market Street. We bought the old train station and turned it into a beautiful restaurant, Stella Luna. There was nothing on Market Street. No Clarion, now it's Mark's. No Foothills. And actually, Foothills was a feeding. We borrowed $800,000 from the bank. We didn't have it in our pockets. We just took a huge risk and borrowed that money to renovate that building. Because that building, if some of you have been to Stella Luna inside, it wasn't like that. We gutted it all out. Every inch of pipe, every inch of electric, everything was redone. But we took a huge risk. And we brought light to Market Street. Along with that, people came. People came to see us. Traffic started again on Market Street. We brought something positive to this community with no help from the city. Once we were established, the Clarion moved in with a 10-year pilot plan, tax plan, right? We local guys, in Italian we said, we got ugats, we got nothing. Fast forward to today, my brother and I still own the building, still pay taxes. Still pay a hefty water bill for not even using water. Along comes RSS, right? They build a beautiful building over there, right? Forget about the parking, it's not about the parking. Apparently they get huge tax breaks, they make money on rent. They're just not in it for the fun of it. What do they give back? I'd like to know. What do they give back? What are they going to give back to this community? All right, so
Should we please let him speak?
excuse me,
Let him speak.
I need to talk. All right, you threw me off. That's all right, I forgive it. Some of you that have been calling names to some of us who are for this, and they've been calling us different kind of names. You know what? Grow up, okay? Go home and look yourselves in the mirror and ask yourself, when was the last time you did something for somebody for this community? I sleep at night. 23 years ago, my brother and I started a local Christmas shopping fund. Up until this Christmas, we take 30 to 35 local kids Christmas shopping for winter clothes and whatever else they need. For years, my brother and I brought food to the Lord's table every day. Not every other day, every day. And I did ask some of the local other restaurants, hey, why don't you guys do 1 day, 2 days? I didn't get any help.
okay? So we've given to Oneonta. And this is not about compassion or hopelessness, okay? This is about doing the right thing for Oneonta and not rushing into things. You guys have to think about this and not rush into things, because some of us who have lived here for years, I've lived here for 58 years, okay? We want a little bit more respect, other than the meeting that I went to the other day. That was the worst meeting I ever been to in my life, with 3x5 index cards to be screened. Are you kidding me? That's pathetic. Now, I see where the workforce is going in this country. And it's not just this country, it's all over the world. Oh, you know, we want to blame the young kids, all these lazy young kids. It's not just the young kids. It's all over. People don't want to work. Okay? And it's also, you know, when you grow up, it's not just this generation, the generation before that has been in the system. After the while, you rely on the system. You get to like that system. You know, you can become comfortable. So, like my father taught us to do something with ourselves, and my siblings and I have all been very, very, can't think of the word right now. But my point is, and I'll put it in a restaurant point of view, you know? You can keep giving food to people, keep giving food to them constantly, but once in a while, there comes a time where you got to teach them how to cook. And I thank you.
George Wells, 12 Walnut Street. I have to tell you that this is one of the kindest communities I've ever known. You want to talk about kindness and compassion, it exists here. I think one of the things we need to do tonight is thank the leaders of our city for drawing us all together. We're all watching what you're doing, and to echo Mayor Herzig and many others, you're moving way too quickly on this. You're talking about taking a vote on a project you don't have all the information on. Please slow down. We're watching and we're seeing that some of you are already committed. I'm going to step right out and say it, the juvenile gestures from that table, Shannon, are inappropriate. And I hope that the constituents of the third ward take notice. Okay, it's not appropriate what's going on. We would look for you all to be listening tonight in an objective manner. That's what we expect as we're talking about this project, that you'll listen to us objectively and use the information you got here tonight to make a decision, not to sit there with a decision already made and applauding your point of view. It's the least we should be able to expect. If I were sitting up there tonight and we had an offer that was made on that property, made publicly, because the concern was that it wouldn't move forward, that no one would know that that offer had been made as a competitive offer, you all ought to be ashamed of that. You ought to be ashamed of the fact that that's the perception. If you don't believe it to be true, you have the power to change that perception. And you have the power to change that perception by listening, by asking questions of your constituents, and not just formulating your own opinion, and being pushed into a decision too quickly. For those who talk about RSS and the timeline that they're on, because there may be some benefit to them financially, that same money is available next year. It's been available every year leading up to this. So we don't need to be pushed into a decision based on timelines that are not real urgent, right? It's disingenuous at best. So please make the decision that's right. Go through the secret process. The processes exist for a reason, and that's to protect the long-term and longevity of this city and its benefits. It's a great place to live, guys. Let's keep it that way. Okay, part of that is following the process. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Catherine Killian. I am a nursing student
student, a senior here at Hartwick, and I also live in the city. I live at Normal Ave. And a lot of people have talked about how it feels rushed and the timeline, but a perspective that I would like to bring as somebody that works in healthcare in this area and has for the last 3 years is it's not just urgent because of any kind of financial reason. It's urgent because people are being hurt and because this is affecting people right now in this community, and it's affecting their lives, it's affecting their health, and there's also concern I hear about the long-term effects and what kinds of people will be brought in to the community or be brought into Main Street. But I would like to reiterate what some other people have already brought forward, which is those people are already here. People that are struggling with untreated mental health disorders, that are struggling with untreated substance abuse disorders, people that are houseless are here in our community right now, and they need this housing. They need supported transitional housing. It's not just about a room or an apartment or a roof. And what I see in this RSS proposal is more support, is addressing not only the fact that somebody is not housed at that moment, but addressing the root causes of why. Is it a substance abuse disorder? Is it mental health? What is it? And it's bringing those supports along with the housing. I understand why people are concerned that affordable housing may affect the economic future of downtown Oneonta, but I really encourage you to look at the data in other cities, in other places around this country, because that's actually not really what's been found to happen. It's really increased property value, it's increased economic development, because people want to be in a community where they can find affordable housing, for one, and also when people have housing, they are less likely to be going into businesses trying to just find a place to be warm or a place to be during the day. And I think those are all things to consider when you're thinking about the long-term implications of this and what it could bring to this community. Because that's what I'm thinking about, and that's what I see, and I am really excited to see this proposal, and I think it brings an extraordinary amount of potential to improve just our community. So thank you.
Anybody else? Is there anybody else that would like? Oh, I'm sorry.
I was sleeping.
I took my glasses off.
Come on.
I took my hearing Well, I've heard all of this. I am a compassionate person.
Identify yourself, please.
Can you repeat your name?
Identify
Charles
yourself.
Hartley, I live along, I don't know.
You're lying.
I understand, but I'm an old guy, I've been there, seen that. Some of you people are young, fine, not a problem. The problem is that this young lady says, well, we have these people here already. I can say we don't have these people already. How do we know? I would ask the city council people to find out. I have lots of questions. For example, RSS is going to say there are going to be 15 units for the drug rehab people. Is that they're going to also include a rehab facility here? I don't think so. They have facilities in which they have 15 units for people, but there's nobody there other than one person shows up once a month to make sure the building doesn't burn down. So some of you think, and I might think that also, there will be people here from the RSS who maintain and help these people be rehabbed.
There are other places they have where that doesn't happen. I don't know, do you people know? Have you gotten a proposal from the RSS people which spell these things out? They claim that there will be 50 housing units out of the 50 in the drug rehab. I'm more concerned with the drug rehab people because they can be a problem. There's a 50% recidivism rate on these people. Some of these people will go back to the drug folks, and sadly, that still is a problem. We can be compassionate, but that doesn't solve the problem. What is it to keep them from buying the building, putting the building up, which you're going to apparently sell to them in 2 weeks? Is that correct? You're not going to answer questions because that's not a part of the forum. Thank you. What's to keep them to say, well, we can get more money from the state, we can fill all 50 units with drug rehab people. They get the money from, there's no zoning as far as I know that says that won't happen here. The only reason that the city has control of what happens to the property is because they own the property. So if you sell it to them, good luck. That's sold forever, and it's going to be a building sitting there. What happens in 10 years? They sell a building to somebody else, they put an apartment building with no parking. You don't know that. I'm not sure there's a guarantee. We have the city of Water sitting here. We need an answer. The reason some of us, I am concerned about this is because are you actually going to vote on this in 2 weeks? Do you have the actual proposal that says what they are going to do, what they are going to do, and what they won't do? They can buy the property, and I think they can put 50 housing units in there with 200 people from a drug rehab program with no support whatsoever. That's possible. Do you know it's not possible? If you do, let us know. You cannot, well, you can. You should not vote on this in 2 weeks or 4 weeks or whatever without being able to answer my kind of question. Now, maybe I'm just nuts, and you don't need to answer my question, but I don't think so. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Sue Hartley, and I live on Central Avenue, also. Again, we have moved car. My concern is the payment in lieu of taxes. I think there's like 77% of the real estate in Oleana is not taxable. And if we put another large parcel on that list, that passes the burden to the homeowner. And we're getting kind of tired of carrying that burden. I think that's property that could be used for another type of development that would actually make money, and I'm in favor of that. I'm not a heartless person, but there's no reason why RSS can't use another site that's not quite as desirable as the one they put their sites on. So, I don't know, I guess that's all I have to say.
I'm Roger Shover, I live at 110 Spruce Street. And I said the other day, I'm kind of a new kid on the block. I've only been here since 2012. So I've never really been part of these conversations. I have some questions and I don't have a lot of answers. And a couple people here mentioned some information that I thought, if it's accurate, it changes, it would be helpful, knowing if this project is actually going to take members of our community who are in need of these services and help them, then that would actually meet the need of the community. But it's a different story if there's a waiting list that this organization has, that they've promised vacancies to other people who do need the services. And any person who needs the service and gets it successfully and becomes sure-footed and has a productive life is a wonderful thing. But I'm not sure how that serves members in this community who are low-income housing candidates, who are in need of mental health and sober support services. So I think having a direct answer to that question of who would be housed in this project is a pretty simple one. I would imagine a company like RSS, which is a company, by the way, it's not out of the goodness of their heart and strict compassion that they're endeavoring in this. I imagine there's a lot of what they tolerate because they believe in the mission of it. I imagine. I'm benefit of the doubt, as you go into this work, there has to be some element of that. But knowing that this community, having the low-income housing, what was it, 25 units or 35 units, the one thing I heard is maybe it's $17,000 to $38,000 a year. That's the bracket of the low-income housing candidates who make up the rest of the building, aside from the 15 units. I don't know what those numbers are. So you can shake your head, but that's the point. Having it centrally located on Main Street would make sense. It's close to a lot of resources. But the other thing too is that people with that low income housing, it would be irresponsible to encourage them to spend wildly on Main Street. We would want someone to be conservative financially so they can save and build. Right? And I did exactly that because I was fortunate to have help and live on Main Street and go to Latte Lounge and eavesdrop on you guys if you needed a worker on a job. That's exactly what I did. So I don't think it's so foolish for RSS to look at this lot as desirable. But it seems to me that there could be other lots that accomplish this without sacrificing a prime piece of real estate, which if it's not on the tax rolls is another big consideration for a city that does not have a ton of cash to burn. And placing that tax burden on other people who would love to direct those resources in other ways, I'm not sure that helps us. And again, the question there is too, what is the tax implication? I think there's a very clear answer if it would be provided. And then simply who would be the beneficiary of these, who would get these units? Are they people locally, or do they come in from another place? And you know what, if they come in from another place, maybe they could become productive members of this community, right? That's possible. But if you're claiming that it's to help low-income housing, candidates in our neighborhood, then just tell us that's what it is. And like I said, I just have a lot of questions. I'm kind of new to this, so I'd appreciate just a few answers. If you could slow down the process and at least answer me, who's new, I'd appreciate it. Good job.
Good evening. My name is Jacqueline Orgoni. I'm the owner of Latte Lounge as well as several commercial properties on Main Street and Beat Street. I'm here tonight to speak in opposition of the proposed RSS project located at 27 Market Street. I have been a lifelong resident of Oneonta, growing up on Cedar Street, and now I live in the town where I'm raising a family. In recent years, my husband Adrian and I have invested much of our life savings into properties and businesses in the heart of downtown. We spend day in and day out working to improve our investments, not only to benefit those who use them, but to help improve the quality of life in our community. We've had many conversations with the mayor, our congressman, and many other city officials where they have preached their devotion to our city and the improvement of our downtown. Yet it seems every time we turn around, we feel those same people who are asking us for our help, our time, our ideas to improve our downtown are ignoring those very opinions and pushing their own agendas, which in turn have been and will continue to be detrimental to the prosperity of Main Street. I feel I possess a great loyalty to Oneonta. Many days I question why. But still, I persist in trying to improve the city I call home. This current climate in Oneonta politics is pushing many of us, business owners, property owners, and residents, to want to give up because of how bleak our future is looking with the current proposals to downtown. Now, here we are, many of the Oneonta business and property owners you claim to want to help, here in this room, and we are standing before you, our elected officials, begging you please not to pass this project right now. Thus far in this process, we have been silenced, disregarded, and downright ignored. But now I'm asking this council to please listen to the voices of those of us who care the most for our downtown. Please do not pass this project through at this time. Instead, please listen to the amazing ideas many of our residents have, and let's come up with an alternative that will be beneficial to all. Thank you for your time. Hi, my name is Caroline Naraki, 232 West Street Extension. My husband and I moved to Oneonta in 2022. We are early 20s, college-educated, a dual income household, and we own a home here. In other words, the exact type of resident this community wants to attract to live here and frequent businesses downtown. I also fiercely believe in every individual's right to housing, regardless of their income, life circumstances, or medical history, which does include access to transit and employment. If this forum is truly concerned about the appeal of Oneonta to both outsiders and potential future residents like myself a couple of years ago, I would consider the following. A community that is truly interested in being welcoming will prioritize creating resources and support to the most vulnerable among us. Otherwise, you are going to lose out on young people wanting to live here long term, across all income spectrums. And you can't have economic development without young people living and thriving here. RSS is not in opposition to that goal, but rather it can enable it.
Steps. Before we close this, is there anybody else that would like to speak?
Hi, Mark Conway here. I'm an old timer in contrast to the previous speaker. I came here 50 years ago when my children were raised here, and I lived down there for many years. And I learned a lot in the last few weeks, actually the last week since Sunday. There was a lot of testimony from people for and against the RSS project, as well as the location of it. And I've come to be kind of cautious and in favor of delaying a decision on the RSS project and hoping that a lot more alternatives be considered in the next year. Again, there doesn't have to be an immediate buy now prerogative, a reason to rush the decision. And we have to listen to former Mayor Gary Herzog and his discussion of the problems in decision making locally for a long time. I'm really inclined to say slow down, and I'm saying that in the past couple of meetings also. But I want to add a kind of upbeat feeling. I'm really inspired just to see so many people here tonight, and the passionate so many people have expressed about this city on both sides of the multi-dimensional issue. It's a really wonderful thing. And I'm hoping the council takes this as a cue to, in the future, maybe insist that the whole forum for these kinds of decisions be opened up and prolonged and more deliberative with the whole community involved and a consensus being sought over a period of time before decisions are rushed through. So again, I'm really inspired to see so many people here and hoping that we can have more of these kinds of opportunities, such as we could go to town hall, as it was called also on Sunday, even though it was an ad hoc effort then. Thanks very much.
Coming down the stairs is where we're going to fall.
My name is Wendy Hunt. Moved to Oneonta back in 1983. I've been in the area. I moved away after that, just so you kind of understand the area. I moved back to the area. I want to say that the Common Council must delay making any decision on this sale of this piece of property in Oneonta. RSS does own other property in Oneonta. This is not their only choice of where they can locate. I'm not saying that they have to locate there. Oneonta has completed 4 major low-income housing projects in the most recent years, the last 10 years or so. Oneonta is officially the 3rd poorest city in the state of New York. The third poorest city in the state of New York. We cannot afford to provide the services any more than we are. Our hospital in Oneonta no longer will allow children to be born there because they don't have doctors, they don't have nurses, they don't have medical care. There is not the mental health facilities needed to serve this community. Please consider this before making this kind of decision, which will, continue the downward spiral that I have seen in Oneonta in the last 30 years. It is really a sad thing. There are wonderful business owners in this community who care, who give of their resources over and over and over again to support the many, many nonprofit organizations that are the backbone of this community. Please consider holding off on this decision. Thank you.
Good evening, my name is Yandra Daniels. I use she, her pronouns, and I live in the cemetery of Oneonta. I want to talk tonight because I'm just downright appalled at the comments being made here tonight, because I feel like the city residents, some of them, are missing the point of this project. When we look at economic development, we look at healthy, vibrant individuals. So when we're trying to grow a community, we have to address our basic needs first. So it's really important that people have access to food, people have access to housing, and they have access to support systems in order to become that next tier of financial contributors. I'd also like to remind everyone that we live in a college town, and everyone has come here that has spoken tonight has been speaking incorrectly. They've been sharing things that have already been addressed at public meetings. We sat 3 hours on a whole presentation, and a lot of your guys' questions were answered, and you're spreading misinformation. This is what happens when we come into a forum and we're not properly educated, so that's shameful. My last thing is that I will say is that, yes, everyone in this building has a right to have commentary on this project, but the people who will be most impacted by this project are not even in this room. So the fact that anyone is saying that their voice isn't being heard is absurd, because you are actively speaking to your council people, where the people who are being served by this project are not here. They're not here. And by delaying government, by delaying decisions, what we're doing is marginalizing people in a systemic way. So we're pushing off people's access to housing, delaying their ability to come inside, like literally come inside. So we talk about economic development for our businesses, like homeless people on the street. That's what you want? That's how you see Oneonta getting more business? No. Like mentioned earlier, we want young people to stay here, we want people to live here. We have healthcare workers that are in these colleges that are literally leaving because they are not happy with the commentary they're hearing, the public opinion they're hearing around these social justice issues that matter to us most. And as a woman of color, and the lack of diversity, yeah, I'm gonna bring up race, and I'm gonna bring up class. Like, everyone really needs to sit in that. And the fact that you all are going home tonight. You're gonna have a place to eat, you're gonna have heat in your house. And everyone, you don't earn the right to have food. You don't earn the right to have housing. You are born, therefore you are received those rights. It's not optional. Just because you go to work doesn't mean you should have a home. Like, no, it doesn't actually. It actually doesn't. So I would like to say that the Common Council sure has a right to consider your opinions, but government has a responsibility to act on behalf of all of its constituents, not just the people who are trying to make money. And that's what this is about. Businesses are worried about losing money, and I'm worried about the future and the heart and the soul of Oneonta. And how are people think, how are people treated here? Not just about making money.
Oh, yes.
Thank you. I'm Virginia Lee, I'm the Director of Finance for the City of Oneonta, and I live on County 48 in Oneonta, and I have been working for the city for the past 35 years. In my entire career, I have only addressed the council during petitioner sections once, when I recognized a former employee for her outstanding work. I stand in front of you here tonight for I think the issue of voting yes or no for the sale of 27 Market Street is too important to stay quiet. As we heard at the February 27th Foothills presentation, the Market Street development has been in the works for years. How and when? The 2019 Comprehensive Plan discusses housing in detail. It discusses goals, diversities, alternatives, new housing opportunities, needs, the housing task force, affordability, and vision. It also discusses development in the city and the challenges of finding developers interested in the Oneonta area. The 2016 DRI grant application included a multi-use, multi-tenant building for 27 Market Street, and the DRI strategic investment plan conceptualized 4 levels of mixed income housing with 40 new apartments. The code enforcement officer, with council approvals, has been updating various codes not only to protect the citizens, but to provide modernized development guidelines. As we all know, the current city team and past city teams, including elected officials, have had goals for development, affordable housing, support services, new revenues, new water sewer customers. The proposal for 27 Market Street from RSS meets all 5 of those goals. Comments have been made that the city has not advertised the property for sale. As of the February 27th presentation factually demonstrated, the city has reached out to over 100 developers with not one viable option until now, which is a tremendous opportunity that is vitally important to our community. Very important to note, the sale of this property is conditional on development as outlined in the comprehensive plan and the DRI application, which is supported by all council motions approving the purchase, demolition, grant applications, and the grant criteria, and the budgets pertaining to the preparation of this parcel. Also, the accusations that the city has not been transparent in its plans are false. Every council and committee meeting are public. The mayor's Daily Star articles are published and his videos are online. YouTube meetings of various meetings are available. Meeting minutes and comprehensive plan and the DRI grant details are available on the city's website. As the Director of Finance, I have stressed that finding new revenue sources should come from economic development, such as building new housing complexes, attracting small manufacturers and businesses, especially in the rail yard area, developing the land surrounding the city's airport. For when this activity happens, everything else naturally follows. Population will grow as jobs are provided, retail will benefit from the increased activity, which will stimulate more growth. The Market Street Improvement Project is the beginning of the needed economic development.
My name is Jim Blumen. I'm a professor of political science here at Harvard. I live in the town, so I don't really have a dog in this fight, as they say. But what I do want to applaud everybody for participating in this discussion. And I think it's hard. You know, you heard from some young people, some of our people who are graduating from Harvard, and they're questioning whether they want to stay here. I brought a lot of students to these town hall meetings. I've been here for about 10 years. And I brought a lot of students, and we talk about things. And I've also noticed the people who come to these meetings were not average, particularly a low average age, shall we say. Right? So I encourage, however you continue to do it, the business owners, I understand what you're saying, and the people who have advocated for this building, I don't know a lot about it, quite frankly, and I'm here more out of intellectual interest, but I think the council needs to discuss with each other. There's a couple of not nice things said. I'm also the faculty chair here at Harvard, and I advocate for kindness, and that doesn't always work. But I think this process needs to go on. I don't know where you all are going to be. Obviously, there's a lot of tension, and but you have to realize also, those of you who are business owners, to attract young people, we need to do things that are environmentally engaging, humane, and so if it doesn't go there, it should go somewhere. Like, people are not coming here. And I study state and local government, I study state and local economies. People aren't moving to here or anywhere else in a lot of the Northeast, post-industrial areas. By doing something in a new way, thinking of things differently, it may all do that. There's different ways to do things. So I just encourage you all. I think it's been a fascinating discussion, and I hope that you think kindly about what the needs are of those people who are houseless. I'm not sure what the term is, but people who need housing. Listen, I am going to go home and hang out with my dog.
I'm not seeing more hands up, so we're going to close the public hearing at this time. Thanks everybody that came to the public hearing, appreciate it.
Scott, do we want to take a minute to let folks go throughout before we continue? Do we want to take a minute
Yeah, it's okay. I think it's really
Brian, good to see you. You doing well?
Oh, I am. Yep.
Just gonna keep you in mind.
Oh, yeah. I set it up so you can order it on and then I remember the laws of you could send this if you wanted to, but I'm pretty sure it's not going to Oh, yes.
Oh my gosh. Days. Yeah. That's good.
And we're there, and we leave.
Okay, well that's.
And that makes me deem that it's not to the level of anyone who's concerned about
Look, Greg. Hi, how are you? Good. It gets colder sitting home. It gets colder sitting
Closer.
Folks, we're starting the meeting.
Thank you for coming.
Right here. Yes. Nothing good or good for economy. We're gonna get started again here. In the interest of time, we're gonna dispense with the reading of the correspondence. We're gonna acknowledge that they're in our packets, they're already gonna be online, so who wants to go online, they can read the correspondence that was sent to us. We're gonna go to the approval of warrants. Motion that the common council approves the warrants totaling $589,257.52.
The door back there, so we don't really hear it well. Thanks.
And that the same be placed on the Director of Finance's desk for payment as presented. Can I have a motion for approval?
I'm sorry, I couldn't hear anything.
Not really loud, everybody.
All right. Motion that the common council approves the warrants totaling $589,237.52 with the same be placed on the Director of Finance's desk for payment as presented. Do I have a motion for approval?
So moved.
Second.
I'll second, I don't know.
No, you say so moved.
Okay, I so moved.
Clerk, please call the roll.
Councilmember Murphy?
Aye.
Councilmember Walsh Russo? Aye. Councilmember McHugh? Aye. Councilmember LaFarge? Aye. Councilmember Harrington?
Yes.
Councilmember Wooden?
Aye.
Councilmember Matheson?
Yes.
So that was all yeses, in case you couldn't hear it back. Consent agenda, can I have a motion to approve consent agenda? Councilmember LaFarge, second. Aye. Councilmember Ward. No, I'm sorry. Clerk, please call the roll.
Councilmember Murphy?
Aye.
Councilmember Walsh Russo? Aye. Councilmember McHugh? Aye. Councilmember LaFarge? Aye. Councilmember Harrington?
Oh, yes.
Councilmember Wooden?
Yes.
Councilmember Matheson?
Yes.
Passes.
Discussion agenda. Item number 10, motion of the common council approves the city administrator's appointment of Haley Lane to the position of police officer at a base annual salary of $51,500. That's BDA salary grade P-1. Effective March 14, 2024, subject to the satisfaction of all applicable civil service and pre-employment requirements.
So moved.
Followed by Councilmember Murphy. Clerk, please call the roll.
You want discussion first?
Oh, yeah, discussion. Any more discussion?
Councilmember Murphy?
Aye.
Councilmember Walsh Russo? Aye. Councilmember McHugh? Aye. Councilmember LaFarge? Aye. Councilmember Harrington?
Yes.
Councilmember Wooden?
Aye.
Councilmember Matheson?
Yes.
Motion number 11, that the common council approves the city administrator's appointment of Andrew Walker to the position of code enforcement inspector with a base annual salary of $52,000. Administrative annual salary grade K-1. Effective March 6, 2024, subject to the satisfaction of all applicable civil service and pre-employment requirements. Do I have a motion to approve? Councilmember Welsh Russo.
Yeah.
Is first.
Take a second.
My Councilmember. Requires you. Do we have any discussion? Not hearing any. Clerk, please call the roll.
Councilmember Murphy?
Aye.
Councilmember Walsh Russo?
Aye.
Councilmember McHugh?
Aye.
Councilmember LaFarge?
Aye.
Councilmember Harrington?
Yes.
Councilmember Wooden?
Yes.
Councilmember Matheson?
Yes.
Motion number 12. Trial closure of the street to through vehicles from Main Street to Wall Street. Whereas the city of Leon wishes to address the current decline in foot traffic and business support by implementing strategic initiatives that create a vibrant, welcoming atmosphere. And whereas the city of Leon wishes to foster a sense of community ownership and pride by actively involving residents, students, and businesses in the revitalization efforts. And whereas the city of Oneonta wishes to position downtown Oneonta as a destination for both locals and visitors, particularly families and players from the Cooperstown All-Star Village during the summer. Now, therefore, be it resolved, the section of D Street from Main Street to Wall Street shall be closed to through vehicle traffic on a trial basis beginning no later than April 27, 2024 through October 31st, 2024, and be it further resolved, temporary stop signs will be installed on Main Street at the intersection with D Street for both eastbound and westbound traffic to allow for safe, frequent pedestrian crossing. Do I have a motion to approve?
For this motion? Yeah.
Or, excuse me, a motion. Councilmember Murphy, do I have a second? Councilmember Walsh Russo. Is there a discussion?
I would like to make a comment. I live on D Street, and earlier today I spoke to Greg about this, and this does not involve closing any part of Wall Street. And the concern I had was if you on Wall Street today left hand turn on please, and he said yes. So I think this is a good idea. As a resident of D Street.
Yeah, we have questions on this end.
Yeah, okay.
I'll let you go first.
Is your mic working?
I was just curious if we could put a plaque in memorial for Caleb O'Neill. He's the person who was killed in that alleyway.
That probably can be in the next, in the discussion of the topics of interest. Councilmember Murphy?
Yeah, can everybody hear me okay?
Yeah.
Okay. Greg, has there been a traffic study done of the area? And well, I guess what are your findings, if there has?
No, we haven't done a traffic study in preparation for this formally. It's something that we'll monitor during, as we try to do the trial. I think the trial would kind of show us, in real life what the impacts are. We don't anticipate they will be major impacts.
Okay.
But obviously, given it's a trial, it's something that we can end at any time if there were unforeseen or negative events.
That's what I was gonna ask. So if for example, we get to May 30th and it's not going well, we have the authority to say, let's go back.
Yeah.
Okay.
I just wanted to say that I wanted to echo Luke's question. We haven't seen any diagrams of traffic flow or anything like that, and someone actually brought up to me that if you're traveling on D Street toward Main, that you would take a right onto Wall Street, and then you have to take a right onto Chestnut Street, which would get you farther away from your intended original destination. So that being said, I know that we've closed this for events before, and that it's been relatively well received in terms of deliveries and pedestrian access. So I would be willing to give it a try on a trial basis. And to Luke's point, if it seems like we're monitoring, and I think that would be a consideration that I would hope would be made, that we would be monitoring traffic flow to make sure that it's not having an unintended consequence. That we could kind of change our minds at any time and bring it back. I would be willing to do it for at least a brief period. I know we have a specific period of time outlined in the agenda, but
And I think, if I may, that's what gives me comfort, Katie, too, is knowing that if we don't have to go to the 31st if it's showing problems. We have the ability at any council meeting or soon to say let's reconsider things.
Yeah.
I have a couple of questions, Greg. I'm doing this, there's some private alleyways there. Have you figured out how I'm going to monitor how people can access those alleyways, and also the deliveries for businesses as well as tenants of those buildings, garbage removal. And is there any safety concerns with trying to get, whether it's police, fire, EMS, into that area, and how are we monitoring this to ensure it's safe? And then the final question, real quick, before I give you the mic, is have you talked to your business owners that are going to be directly affected in the home, your owners of those buildings?
Can I ask a follow-up question, because I think it could be addressed at the same
Sure.
time? What is the method of blocking off the street, that section of the street, to vehicle traffic? however you want to do that. Okay, thank you.
Okay, so the street itself will have what we call timer blocks, essentially concrete blocks that will be installed just behind the crosswalk at the Main Street end of the street. That will not allow any vehicular traffic from turning from Main Street onto D Street. And then at the alleyways, to address Scott's question about garbage removal or potential need to access those alleys by residents or property owners, we'll have those concrete blocks placed just south of those alleys, so on the Main Street side of the alleys. And then further up at Wall Street itself, we'll have additional concrete blocks, but with enough room between them to allow emergency vehicle or a garbage truck if they need to get in there, or local access. We'll have signage that indicates that it's local access only. We may have some issues where someone sneaks in there and tries to park, and those are kind of issues we'll have to work through and maybe make adjustments as we go. But we want to make sure initially that we don't close the entire street off and have unintended effects for the alleys or emergency vehicles access. So that's what we do that. Those concrete blocks themselves are like an opportunity for artists potentially to paint. We want to have some sort of an activation of space that we're talking about. Maybe that's something that can be done as part of your festival we're planning. But otherwise, we'll have proper signs installed to just indicate that each year is expanding as walls. Did that answer to your questions? Sorry about that.
Oh, business owners.
I talked to a few business owners somewhat randomly. We have plans to actually tomorrow afternoon, several are going around talking to all the business owners on Main Street that we can come in contact with about the Only on Earth Festival. So we'll be talking about the Only on Earth Festival as well as the plans to close D Street. So we'll be gathering some feedback. If we hear any concerns, we can certainly address those. And we'll certainly welcome any feedback from residents and businesses as we implement that as well.
Go ahead.
Just one last question. Greg, would you be receptive of maybe like the second council meeting in June to do a progress report to see how it's going for your city administrator's report? Just we'll have a couple of months into it and see how it's going.
Absolutely, okay. And even sooner than that.
Okay.
Any feedback that you're getting or observations.
Okay, thank you.
Go ahead.
Okay, okay, what was my question? In light of the fact that we aren't proposing to close this for another month, and you do have the intention of talking to business owners, does it make sense to table this motion until our next council meeting in 2 weeks? We'll have a we won't impact the anticipated start date of the closure. We'll have full kind of, gamut of opinions of people who might be impacted, and we can make a more informed decision. That's step one. The other thing is, just in terms of like talking about logistically, how we plan to monitor traffic flow, parking enforcement, things like that. Like, I would just be interested in how that will impact, because it's obviously just like an added thing to keep an eye on, if I can do DPW or OD, or, if you can just elaborate on that as well.
Yeah, so as far as addressing parking signs, no parking signs installed, that would be enforced like any other parking if someone is only in there and parking where we don't want them to. As far as delaying vote on it and approval, like you said, it's not going to impact the implementation date, the intended implementation date. Part of the reason for proposing this now is coinciding with the Only on Earth Festival proposal. We want to be able to hopefully have permission to do that festival and close the street and be able to plan for that and get commitments and make sure that we have things in place ahead of time.
So, sorry, we're just chatting away over here. So if I read the Earth Day proposal motion correctly, it does also include the street closure. And if it doesn't, potentially we could make a friendly amendment for those 2 days at the very least, and then leave the bigger, kind of broader closure. We could still, again, just put that on the next agenda so that we have the opportunity to.
Are you making a motion to table?
I'll make a motion to table this motion.
So we have a motion to table, motion is correct.
Okay. Yeah.
We have a second to that?
We need to have a second.
Right.
Right. We have a second to table that?
We're friendly amending those at the Earth Day.
Right now,
I intend to friendly amend.
This is until, to clarify, so this is a motion to table the motion 12 until next meeting?
Until next meeting.
Okay.
Well, it's a motion table, and you can lift, you can pretty much.
We can lift it off in 5 minutes if we want to.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So we have a motion by Councilmember McCoy, seconded by, I didn't see.
McHugh.
Shannon McHugh, Councilmember Shannon McHugh.
Councilmember Shannon.
Clerk call the roll, please.
Councilmember Murphy? Aye. Councilmember Walsh Russo? Aye. Councilmember McHugh? Aye. Councilmember LaFarge? Aye. Councilmember Harrington?
Aye.
Councilmember Wooden?
Aye.
Councilmember Matheson?
Aye. All right, so that will be tabled, and so we'll have to bring it up at the next meeting.
Yeah. We just motion to we just move to untable.
Motion on table, yeah.
Okay.
Right, is that how
It's called a motion to move it from the table.
Yes.
You vote on the table.
Wow.
Got it. Same way.
I'm gonna try, I'm losing my voice, so. Motion number 13, the common council approves the Oneana Earth Festival to be organized by city staff and held on April 27, 2024, with a rain date of April 28, 2024. This event will be held in downtown Oneana, utilizing a portion of Deep Street from Main Street to Wall Street, and potentially utilizing other public spaces not requiring additional street closures, such as Miller Plaza and sidewalks. So I have a motion made by Councilmember LaFarge, seconded by Councilmember Murphy. Is there any discussion?
I'd like to make a friendly amendment to this motion that includes I'd like to make a friendly amendment to this motion that includes the specific authorization to close Deep Street from Main Street to Wall Street on April 27th, 2024, with a rain date of April 28th, 2024, in order to hold the Earth Festival.
And so we have a motion, and I have a second by Councilmember Murphy.
So there's a motion to amend. I actually think that the motion itself includes, you can't use it without.
I mean, I agree with that.
Pardon?
I would agree with you, but I just thought.
Yeah, if there's a consensus of the council with the current motion, includes the closure of the streets in order to utilize it, then I think you're okay without amendment.
Okay. Is there
any misconception among any of the council members in order to use that?
I just have a procedural question. I seconded it.
Okay.
So do we have to vote on it?
If there's a consensus not to vote on it.
Oh, okay, I see. Okay.
What we're going to be going back to the original.
There's no original motion. Does anybody have?
But again, if the consensus is you'd rather vote on it, that's fine too. It's just reading the motion. It seems to me that you can't use the portion of the street for the festival if you're not going to use this portion of the street for the festival.
I trust your reading of it.
All right.
So we're going to vote on the original?
Yes,
original amendment.
Okay.
Original motion, sorry.
13.
Do you need a motion? No.
We already moved and seconded.
So, is there any further discussion? Clerk, please call the roll.
Councilmember Murphy?
Aye.
Councilmember Walsh Russo? Aye. Councilmember McHugh? Aye. Councilmember LaFarge?
Aye.
Councilmember Harrington?
Yes.
Councilmember Wooden?
Yes.
Councilmember Matheson?
Yes.
All right, city administrator report.
All agree? OPG has completed their annual audit with no findings of any effect. The 1095C tax form for completion. Now, FEMA has approved the final report of the city COVID-related administrative costs of $6,700, just over $6,700. That would bring our total FEMA reimbursement for COVID-related expenses to just over $141,000. 2024 property tax collection, the total levy is over $9.1 million. The total payments, 7.4881.83% have been collected. The number of bills are 3,403, and 3,043 of those, or about 89%, have been collected, leaving just over 10%, or 360 yet unpaid. Annual water and sewer bills expected to be mailed out by this coming Monday. They will be due by April 30th. Reference will be included on the bill mailing to the annual water quality report, which is on its website. Natural gas purchase. So this is a little bit of a longer explanation, so it's an atypical way of going about updating a contract. So our purchasing policy allows for the finance director and city administrator to make decisions about renewing contracts related to purchasing energy, electricity, and gas, natural gas, given the fluctuation of pricing happens daily. Our current contract expires May 31st. We've had a fixed price of $3.82.9 per million BTU since 2021. In 2023, our total expenditures for natural gas supply was just over $62,000. We have just recently entered into a new one-year contract from June 1st of 2024 through the end of May 2025 for $3.78 per million BTU. So if you remember the first number I said, that's a little bit less. We would like to continue monitoring the prices every week, checking with our broker to see how they're fluctuating. We may, depending on that pricing, opt to extend our contract for an additional 12 to 24 months. Our previous contract, as they have noted, was 36 months. The reason we did not opt for that length of contract right away is because the offers we had for a 24-month contract or a 36-month contract were actually significantly higher, for over $4 per MMBtu. So we're hopeful, we'll be monitoring to see if we can get a better price for the longer term. Just to give some context, over the past 3 years, the prices that the suppliers purchase natural gas for have fluctuated from just under $2 to over $9 per MMBtu. And that is based on, that does not include the markup by the city. So the prices change quite a bit depending on the market and the change it. I can take any questions on that if we have. Does that make sense, what I just explained?
Yes.
I think so.
Okay. Thanks, Jamie. So, Market Street transportation improvements, lastly, Market Garage demolition progresses, water main replacement nearly complete, retaining wall construction is upcoming at the end of Water Street. Market Street reconstruction and streetscape improvement project. Upstate Companies is a contractor on that. They've submitted a schedule. They anticipate starting in early to mid-April, weather depending. I think they're hoping to get out there right away after the 1st of April. And they anticipate completion if all goes well by late August. It could go to the fall, depending on various factors that affect construction timelines. So you'll see some more activity happening in addition. That's all I have. Unless you have any questions.
All right, discussion and topics of interest. Before we go into the public engagement discussion, does anybody have anything they'd like to say first? All right, so this is trying to figure out how we can, as we saw with the turnout in the public hearing, a lot of times we don't get this type of turnout, and just a general discussion maybe of how we might be able to better engage to receive people that are at our meetings. There we go. That's not that shit.
Yeah. I just wanted to, now I know why people are asking if they can be heard. So, on this end. I wanted to just put forward that I would like to, and I think this is the place to make a suggestion, that the city provide a sponsored event in the form of a charrette, so that a design charrette, so that the public is able to actually visually see the proposals that RSS, and at this point, RSS has plans for 27 Market. I think that allowing the public to walk around and actually see the proposals that are visually represented will allow people to have a better sense of what the built environment will look like, and it may dispel some of the concern that the public has expressed, and at the very least, it will allow them to visually be able to imagine what the space will be, or potentially will be. There seems to be, in terms of public engagement, a sense that the city is holding back information. A charrette would allow more of a dialogue around planning. A charrette is a term in urban design for those that are unfamiliar. I was unfamiliar. I kept calling it a raclette, which is not a design charrette. It's actually, raclette is a form of outdoor grilling. Not a charrette. So now we all, so a design charrette is what I would like to propose the city sponsor. As a way to speak to this question of public engagement.
When do you propose that would be?
Excuse me?
When would you propose that would be?
We would have to discuss dates and location. The location would be a space that the city would provide that would be accessible to the public. So that the public could then have an opportunity to look at and take their time examining the designs that are proposed.
So to do that, we have to delay a period of time before we make any decisions.
I'm proposing a design charrette.
That's great.
Does anybody else have any? Maybe how to.
Yeah.
That's what I asked you to discuss. So we've been talking about closing off that space and those alleyways, right? Someone was murdered in that alleyway, and I think that we need to have a memorial for Caleb, and it's only right.
You need to understand that the alley is not public property, it's private property. And the buildings belong that are on both sides of private property. So we have no authority to put anything on anybody's property without their permission.
So maybe it can be free hanging, maybe we can work with local artists.
I can't hear that.
Maybe it can be free hanging, or we work with local artists, or maybe there's other ways that we can have a way that we can
What I'm saying, yeah, I mean, if you're talking in the alley, you have to talk to the owners and get permission to do anything. That's all I'm saying, because it isn't public property.
Okay, so just bringing it back to public engagement, I would, I think a lot of the frustration around our public comment in our council meetings is that we don't have the opportunity to respond. And I think that the reasoning for that is so that we don't get into back and forth. However, there are like debate standards where, you can state your comment or your question and then, give the opposing, well, it wouldn't be opposing necessarily, but give the other person involved an opportunity to respond up to a minute or something like that. And so if we were to, what I'm saying is, if we were to come up with some firm guidelines that were upheld by the chair with regard to question and response, that would involve, someone saying, this gentleman who had 4 questions, if his questions could be answered directly, I think there would be, a lot less frustration, not him specifically, but in general with the public, if they could come to the meetings to get their questions answered, because I think that's a lot of the reason, why people are coming here is to engage directly and get their questions answered. So I think if we could, and it could be completely up to the chair, if he were so willing to come up with something that was a universal guideline that allowed for response from council, even if it was to say, that's a great question and we're going to look into that and respond to you, that would allow people to feel like they aren't just blowing air in our direction And then again, like maybe it's like 3 minutes, 1 minute, 30 seconds. Do you know what I mean? So that there can be some sort of reception to whatever has been stated by council or relevant staff member if they so chose. I think that we do need to include an engagement portion because I think right now, you know, a lot of people are coming in, they're feeling very unsatisfied with the way that they are meeting. So that would be my, it's going to take a lot of wherewithal on the part of the chair to ensure that those guidelines are met consistently though. So, and then also I think just in terms of getting people to come to the meetings, and this is really more, I guess, for my fellow council members, and I know that some of you have talked to me about this, and I think Luke is one who regularly does
I'm just about to mention that.
meetings, yes. You know, I, especially around big topics, I like to get together with people, but I am going to begin to do it just more regularly, just to pick a time in my life to be available consistently so that people know that they have this opportunity to reach me, but I think recognizing that I have to be multifaceted, like there are some people who do Facebook, there are some people who do email only, there are some people who do in person. I have a constituent who doesn't like to text, which kills me as a millennial, but so I have to call her on the phone. But just looking for different ways to be engaged with people and yeah, having multimodal. Sorry.
Try to catch you.
That's okay.
Yeah, on that note, I've tried to have board meetings at the very least every quarter. For personal reasons, I haven't had them this last quarter. If anyone's super interested, I will tell you, but would rather not do it in front of the whole world. But we will be having another ward meeting if you live in the first ward. It'll be at City Hall on March 15th at 5 p.m. The city administrator has agreed to join us, thankfully, so I try to do these to have them, they're open. I don't necessarily have an agenda for folks to come and ask questions. They don't have to be about RSS, they can be about a cat you see in the tree. It's just something I try to do to keep the meeting open. So if you live in the first ward, please come on down if you're curious what the borders of that are. It's pretty easy to find online. East End.
Yes. Hello, everybody here. I think council, especially with public engagement, I think one of the key things that we should really discuss, just as a team and as a council for the city, is kind of creating a strategic plan of our stakeholders in the city and making sure that we identify it and work with our resources. I know money is always tight, but thinking about, a coordinator who can oversee that. If we can't, have the money for that, having the colleges with interns who need that internship credit to be able to have a communication degree or have a media studies degree, those resources, we can utilize and collaborate with those students to do that work and collaborate with our stakeholders. Just in a short time, just with conversations in the city and just growing up, just looking at our stakeholders in Oneonta that we have. Even just looking in the room, representing Juneteenth committee, shout out, right? So we have, our Juneteenth committee, big festival that comes, getting the public engagement. I know the city council has approved in the past, and that's amazing. That's what keeps people coming in. Looking at senior Oneonta, Hartwick College, Oneonta High School, the middle school, Cooperstown All-Star Village, right? I mean, I love downtown, but I think we have to have some conversations, with how we market to who's coming. Cooperstown utilizes baseball. Kids love baseball, they want to buy baseball stuff. We gotta market on that because people are coming in the summer. We can only buy so much food, and there's Amazon now. I love shopping local, I shop in retail with all these places, but not everybody's like that. We have a thing that's a reality that we have, right? So we have to identify, these amazing things, right? NAACP and organizations, right? If we want
people to stay here and be retained, right? And to recruit people to come into the city or to make people happy. We've never celebrated Hispanic Heritage Month on our Main Street, Black History Month, unless we work with the NAACP. These are things that students at the college and people who come are like, why would I stay in Oleana and live here if it's not, having those abilities? So we just have to, work together as a team, and I'm working on some documents to email everybody to get that going, and I'll do, the best I can. And I think I'm saying, B-side too, I'm thinking about B-side, and those events, like, those should be packed, they should be sold out, so, but that's like on us too, to get that out there and have someone focus on that. So the other thing I don't really understand on the topic is public engagement is the council can't be finding out the same time as the public does on certain things that are going on in the city. I was very disappointed in the conversation down at the foothills that we're sitting there and learning a lot of that information at the same time as our residents are. And I thought that was kind of disrespectful to the council. That took place that way. I don't want to take anything away from the city team. I think you guys did an excellent job. I think it was very well put together. You guys put a lot of heart and soul into that. It would have been nice to have a little bit of a heads up before we went down there and kind of got, because now we're taking a brunt of a lot of things that we found out that night. So I think public engagement has to be a united front from the city. From city staff, city council, mayor, we all have to work as a team. I'm not saying we need to be involved in all aspects of it, but just a little heads up before, hey, we're working on X, Y, and Z. Make it a little bit nice, because it seems like the public always finds out before we do. And then we're feeling questions and we don't have any answers. And I think that's contributing a little bit to the perceived perception of mistrust that we're facing as elected officials. I think if we can fine-tune ourselves just a little bit, I think we can sort of great spots. So, you have something else?
Yeah, well, I'm gonna hold this really awkwardly. So, yeah, I'm glad that you mentioned that, Scott. I think that I've said this before in previous meetings, and seeing this public engagement piece, obviously it's very timely, but I think that any discussion of public engagement also must take into account council kind of internal communication as well. We had a seminar in December. We have seen not a whisper of that since then. I think that you raise a really good point, which is that, in order to most effectively use us as community liaisons, we need to be considered as part of the city team, and that doesn't mean that everyone who's on the city team has their own unique role, and council would have its own unique role as well. But without attention to defining what that role is, and kind of continuing to, kind of keep us at arm's length, I think that we are not being utilized to our full potential in terms of being communication officers to the general public. So I would just encourage us, and Mark, who's probably not watching but will at some point, that we need to really fast track this conversation and put it in front of us about, what are the outcomes of that meeting? How does council fit in to what, people internally at City Hall are working so hard on? To Scott's point, it doesn't need to be, brought in on every decision, but we do have a place on the team, and I think that needs to be considered for the community's best interest, because we are the ones who are out there and trying to positively engage and get people to be engaged with the city government. So I just wanted to talk to that. I would really love to see us discuss that at some point. We're almost in the second quarter.
for next year. I know, but I was afraid I was just.
Supposed to be public meetings. That's all they should do, or additional laws or additional positions. There you go.
Yeah, just really briefly, I just want to copy some of those sentiments. I think it's just clear that, from my perspective, finding out about the event on Facebook 2 days before, we're walking in the foothills, I'm seeing Scott answer questions like, as council, we decided on that, and we're like all a holy city, like that's, I didn't like that. So I'm just making that clear. And I just think, the side thing too, this process, we're doing the best we can. We have a great team here, and I think the city and the residents need to understand is we have a lot of new council members, like we're doing a lot, like just boom, hey, ready, set, go. Like I'm taking time out of my day, my daughter, a full-time job, I'm collecting data, meeting with people over coffee, creating Facebook pages, doing what I can to get the data from the 7th Ward and grinding, and sometimes like there's a lot of misinformation from people. So you have to understand we are human and we're going all in to try to figure things out so that your voices are heard. And that's just the piece I need to say.
Anyone else have anything? I can't see shit. Yeah. There's no need for executive session, is there? Anyone knows of?
But I'm aware of.
So, hey, I don't need a motion, is there?
You're the chairman. You can adjourn.
I say we're adjourned.